Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be interviewing Alvin, who has about 200 cars right now. Absolutely crazy. And let's jump right into the interview.
Funny because I got my phone on a kid's slide right now.
Hey, turn it around real quick. Let me see it.
Yeah, dude.
Set up.
Literally, bro. that's
Hilarious.
the behind it.
Hilarious. Is that the game room?
Yeah, that's my kid. This is my kid's game room. Like, you got the basketball here, the soccer.
Wow,
You
that's a sweet setup.
Then you got the piano there. Then they got their gaming right there. So it's the only spot I can think of right now because the rest is kind of crazy looking.
Yeah, yeah. So how have things been going? How's business?
Man, it couldn't be better right now, man. It's still blowing up. Like I said, October was my best month ever. November beat my best month of October, and now December it's on pace to it's on pace to possibly beat November. So
Wow.
I mean, typically this last quarter is always the best quarter here in Florida or in Jacksonville. So I'm not surprised it's my best month. But at the same time, I'm adding a lot of cars too. So in the last 3 months, I think I've added more than 50 cars. So
in the last month?
Yeah, no, last couple months, 2 to 3 months.
Okay. So. Do you ever get stressed out? I mean, that's a lot of cars. Do you have like your system down to where it's not very stressful, or is it very stressful having that many cars added?
It's not too stressful if you got systems in place and processes. They don't like all come at the same time. It's sporadic. There's 3 will come now, then another 5 come next week. So what I do is I just take them in slowly. I don't tell them all to bring it because it's random. Like some people will call me and say, "Hey, Alvin, can I send you a car?" And I'm like, "Yeah, go ahead, send it over." And so it'll show up in the next couple of days or whatever. And then I just slowly onboard them. Like within 24 hours, I got it listed live.
Wow.
And then I work out the pictorials later. I do the listing first, so it's live. I just take regular pictures, but then later on, like a day later or 2 days later, I'll really take it to my spot where I do all my pictures, and it'll be up and running. So
okay,
the key is making it go live as soon as possible, so it get booked as soon as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you take your own photos?
I do, man. It's crazy. Like people think I hire somebody and pay somebody. I pay nobody. I use my own iPhone, and it's an old iPhone. It's like an iPhone 13, I think, or something, or 12. But it takes good pictures, so I don't care. It works. I mean, I use the vivid setting, and it works, man. So
that's crazy.
The key is the background drop and keeping it uniform, and the key is the angles and make sure you're fitting it in the frame of Turo, whether it's on the app or on the website.
Yeah.
So sometimes you think it fits the frame on the app, but when you go to the website, it doesn't fit. So,
yeah, that's true. I mean, but that goes to show you don't need like fancy photos. You don't need everything set up perfectly.
Yeah,
you just need it. You're right. Get it on quicker than take longer.
I don't have to hire somebody. I don't have to pay. I don't have to wait for their schedule. I just do it right there. And it's right next to my house. It's like 50 feet from my house. I just walk to it, and that's all it is, man. You just find ways to be efficient.
Yeah, that's crazy. So how many cars you got up to date right now?
I think I haven't even done my recent count, but I know it's over 200. It's
over 200,
between 2 to 210 probably.
Oh,
and then
right.
and next coming, I got more coming on the way. I've got a lot of people talking about sending cars here, and now Turo's opening up that new co-host feature where you could actually list. You could add your cars to somebody else's profile now, and it'll show up. They're doing beta testing on it. Like people have showed me screenshots of this beta test Turo's doing, and that's going to be a game changer. That's going to be huge.
I'm surprised you wouldn't be part of the beta test.
I don't know why.
First person I'd think of. So weird. But they have their account and they put them on somebody else's.
No, what happens is it stays on their account, so all their reviews, all the trip count will stay the same. But now it'll allow them to give me permission to list it on my account too. Like basically it's going to show up as available in my city, but when they book it, it's still going to be booked under their account. But basically I see all the notifications.
So you can list them twice.
Good question. It's probably going to let them list it only once somewhere.
Okay.
keep it in their city, they're gonna keep it there. But if once they give me permission to show on my profile, they're probably gonna have no choice but to like show it only in my listing.
Oh, okay. But then they'll be able to keep the reviews and keep all.
Yeah, that's the big thing. A lot of people didn't want to delete their car because it's gonna delete all their reviews.
Yeah.
But I was listing it anyway, and no, most of them didn't care because when I listed it, it'll show all my reviews and all my trip counts and stuff. But for their own sake, for their own cars trip counts, that goes away. So now it doesn't have to do that. So I think that'll make more people comfortable about letting other people like rent it out for them. I think so. Turo's on the right path to making it easier as far as co-hosting and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's out yet officially. I think because you haven't seen that, right? You haven't heard of it?
No, I haven't heard that.
But there's people contacting me out of nowhere saying, "Hey, man, I'm a power host in Michigan, and I see I could add my car to your fleet." I'm like, "What? Where'd you get that from?" And then he showed me screenshots of their beta. Like Turo's sending them these beta tests.
That's crazy.
So it's happening, man. It's gonna happen soon. That's gonna be.
I wonder if it's in certain states.
Maybe that might be true. Maybe they're starting like in California or something, or some other place first. But I don't know. I mean, no matter what, I think I could do without it anyway because I already have the way I do it. But that'll just enhance it and make it easier for other people who aren't who don't want to give their cars and stuff like that.
Yeah. So do you make all the people? What do you call them? Your investors, your vehicle partners?
Yeah, I call them. I mean, I call the term business partners. Or if it's an investor, I term an investor as someone who's never been on Turo before. He's never had a car in Turo. He's suddenly just using his current car or buying another car and sending it to me to list it on Turo for the very first time. Those are what I call investors. Business partners, I define that as current Turo hosts who want to do business with me and go passive. So I'll just call them like a business partner.
Okay. So how many business partners do you have right now?
Wow, that's a good question. I could actually count it right now, but I think over 30 or 40 of them.
Wow.
Yeah. So some of them have 1 or 3 cars with me. Some have 5 cars. Some have 10 cars with me. My number one business partner has 45 cars with me right now.
45 cars.
45 cars with me.
That's crazy.
And you know what's crazy? Huh? Yeah. And he keeps adding because he sees how I do business. He sees how it books here. He sees how I run things. He sees how I do claims. He sees exactly. And literally where he's been doing, he's been taking cars from other hosts around the country that he doesn't like the experience because he sees how the difference in what I do. And he's like, man, I'm moving my cars to you. So he literally took some from other areas and sent them to me because each host does their own thing, so I do my own thing. And he saw the way I run things, how different it is. So he's doing a mix now, moving them from other cities and sending them to me or getting new cars. So right now he said he went to CarPlay, he got approved for 10 cars. He's sending me 10 Camrys right now. So that's like
crazy. So when you have business partners, do you, I think we talked about this last time, I just don't know if it changed. Do you have criteria in which like you only take certain cars? If somebody wants to bring you something, will you say, no, I don't want that? Or like, do you have any criteria for that?
Good question. I mean, I do ask them what kind of cars you got or what are you sending to me? And then if they have current cars, they'll be like, what do you think about this car? Like a Camry. What do you think about a Voyager, a minivan? I'll tell them straight up because I don't want to sugarcoat anything. I'll tell them, look, here in Jacksonville, minivans, they're very seasonal. Like you're not going to do well on the off months. Like you'll do well in the last quarter of the year for Christmas season, Thanksgiving. But once you hit January, February, that's going to slow down because it's not a daily driver kind of car. It's not a daily demand kind of car here. And we're not like Orlando where it's heavy on tourists. We got a lot of local renters. We got a lot of business people. So they're not going to need minivans. So that number one, I tell them, look, if you want a minivan, I'll take your minivan, but be aware, January, February is going to be slow. March is going to be really good for spring break. April's going to slow a little bit down, but once you hit the summer months, it's going to be really good because it's summer, everybody's traveling. But once you hit school starts again, August, September, that's going to slow down again. But then towards mid-October to the end of the year, it'll be strong again. So if you're okay with that kind of cycle, that kind of seasonality, then I'll take your car. Otherwise, if you're expecting daily demand kind of stuff for a minivan, don't send it to me because you're going to be disappointed.
Okay, that's
So
that's smart to set the expectation.
yeah, set the expectations realistic. But if I know it's a good car, I got a good track record, I'll be like, yeah, send it over. Then I show them my earnings. I show them, look, this is the kind of car, this is the historical data on it. I don't guarantee the earnings in the future, just like any business, but I can tell you what is made here for those same cars, similar cars. And then I tell them, look, I mean, I don't want a car that's a problem child. If you're gonna give me a car that's always in a mechanic shop, nobody's gonna make money. It's gonna waste time. So I tell send me cars that's only well maintained and no mechanical issues. No headaches. I don't want any headaches. And then so that opens it up to any kind of car that's in good maintenance and good no issues. So I'll take cars even up to the oldest of 2012, as long as there's no issues.
Yeah.
I used to try to think, oh, I only want to do like a certain kind of cars, but now after I've seen everything, any make and model here in Jacksonville will run out. It doesn't matter entry level, it's a cash car, if it's luxury, if it's big SUVs or whatever. It doesn't matter the year. I've seen all of them get rented. So
Wow.
I'm not choosy at that. As long as my main number one thing is that they know the seasonality, if it is a seasonal car, and if they know what you call it, if they know it's going to be one of the daily driver kind, I let them know that. Just set the expectations, and then I show them the earnings. That's important because a lot of people will be like, yeah, I'll take your cars, but they got nothing to show for it. There's no historical data. So you don't want them running into a business blind. I want them to be well informed, well educated on the possibilities and the potential.
Yeah, that's a smart way to go about it. So you said you obviously don't like problem childs, which is cars with a lot of mechanical issues.
Yeah.
What happens if you find a car that just keeps having mechanical issues? Will you tell the host, like, I don't want this anymore, or will you keep working with them on trying to solve it?
Well, I'll be like, look, man, it's at the shop again, so it's gonna cost this because it's not my money, it's their money, so they're gonna see it's bleeding money. So they themselves will either say, man, I need to trade this or sell it, or yeah, I'm just gonna take that car back and I'll give you a better car. So it doesn't come from me. Most of it comes from them realizing it's a problem child.
Yeah, and how do you do? So you fix it at the shop, you pay for it, you front the money, and then it comes out of their earnings every month until it's paid off.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, but if it's like something that's big, like a $2,000, $3,000 expense, I'll tell them, man, you guys got to pay that. Like that's a big expense. But if it's anything under $1,000, I usually cover it. And if I know they're making money on other cars, I know I'm gonna get that paid back. They're gonna realize it. Hey, man, this car's sitting. It's not making money. And yeah, I take it to the most appropriate shop because I got mechanic shops for the basic mechanicals, and then I got shops for the more complicated mechanical issues. And then if I have to go to the dealer because no one else can fix it, only dealer only, then I do that. And then I keep them informed, and then I show them the receipt if I do pay it. And then I make it convenient for the investor, for the partner, where they don't have to keep paying out of pocket. They don't feel it. So that lets them not feel it because we're going to take it off the earnings.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so that's what happens.
Lightens the blow.
Yeah.
So out of all the cars that you've gotten, I mean, 200 plus cars, what's your favorite car to get? What car do you really, really like and really want more of?
Doing this for 6 years and seeing everything under the sun. I mean, in terms of revenue and as a partner, if they want to make money on cars here, the strongest kind of revenue generating cars here in this market are the base model Charger Challengers. They don't have to go V8; they could go V6. The Camrys, the Civics, like 5 years or newer. So Camry, Civics, K5s, Sonatas, and Altimas. Those are like my top 7 cars. For some reason, like Chargers and Challengers are ridiculous demand. I don't know why, but here they love it. Those other 5 cars I mentioned, because they're daily demand type of cars that are roomy. It's not the small compact stuff, and it accommodates bigger renters. I do have a lot of big renters here for some reason. I guess that's part of the demographics. So they like the comfortability, and and it's a good, reliable car. There's good warranties on it, especially with the Kia. The Sonatas and the K5s got the 10-year, 100,000-mile warranties, and they're inexpensive. Because when you go SUV route, I know a lot of people like SUVs too and pickups, but they're expensive. They're way more expensive than sedans. So from a business standpoint, I tell them that those are my top 7 cars easily. But then again, BMWs, don't get me wrong, BMW 3 to 5 series are really hot. Mercedes, C classes, GLAs, CLAs, those are really good too. But from a business perspective, I don't highly recommend that. We're going to have a really high payment, and then the revenue's coming in, but your payment's so high. So it's going to put a challenge to the profitability on it. That's why I like those economy cars. There's easier profitability. Now, in terms of cash cars, I recommend that too if that's their budget. If they can't afford like new 5 years or younger Camrys and Civics, don't get me wrong, these older cars get booked too. And don't get me wrong, the small economy cars get booked too. But I'm just saying, like, if you want something that fits the mold of most renters, like they like the roomier kind of sedans, like the mid to full size sedans. Okay. So, and like I said, minivans I don't recommend here. But if they're okay with the seasonality, I'll accept it. The larger SUVs, again, it's almost kind of seasonal. But if you got a really nice one like a Cadillac Escalade, I mean, those go out pretty good. Tahoes go out pretty good, but it's not as good as these sedans I'm talking about and the Charger.
Okay, so what's the most of one car that you have? Is there one that really stands out?
I think I got like 8 Challengers. I got like 12 Camrys. And they all do well. The crazy thing is, you'd think like, man, I'm saturating myself, or I got too many of the same. It doesn't, man. Like they all get rented out regular. They all get rented out with the same kind of utilization. So that tells you there's demand. There's enough demand here, and I'm not like competing against myself.
Yeah.
Like all the challenges I have right now, a lot of them are on long-term rentals. They keep them for weeks and months. I got a guy who's had my Challenger since January, and he's still spending daily at $64 a day.
Wow, that's 12 months almost.
Yeah, and they don't plan on returning it. And they do their own, like they tell me when it's due for an oil change, I'll pay for their oil change, and they just change the tires when it needs tires. Like they're basically maintaining their own car for me.
That's crazy. 60. Yeah. So we're at 11 times 30 plus, how many days in the month are we?
Yeah. I mean, 30
times 64 day, you said?
Yeah, 64 a day.
So you've made, without like Turo fees and stuff, you made about $21,000 on that one rental?
Probably, yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. And the Chargers and Challengers are so good too to me in terms of mechanical issues. I just do the basic tires, brakes, oil changes. Every now and then, I mean, there'll be a headlight that comes out, but I haven't had any issues on that, knocking on wood. I love the reliability.
Wow. That's crazy. I haven't heard that from those cars.
Yeah, but I mean, I know because most of them talk about the V8 ones, the Hemis. Those are the ones that, that'll break or they'll abuse it. These ones, they can't abuse it. It's a V6, it's quiet. It doesn't have the loud roar or whatever.
Yeah.
So that I recommend. I mean, if they want to give me a Hellcat or something, I'll be, all right, man, I'll take it. But I'm telling you, it's going to get abused every now and then.
Yeah.
or it might get totaled. So... But yeah, like Corvettes are really good too if you got the C8, but I don't recommend the older. The C7 ones, once the miles get high, they're very expensive. Like the torque tube especially, I hate that. I keep having to change the torque tube. Is like $3,500.
Damn.
18-hour labor. They got to drop the transmission to get to the torque tube. So the labor is crazy on it.
Gosh.
I wouldn't recommend that. But if they got a C8, I'll take it because it's new. And there's not going to be any issues like that.
Yeah. So how many cars do you personally have right now?
Right, around 18. I used to have around 30 or 25-ish, but some of them got totaled already, so I didn't replenish it. I didn't have to replenish it because I'm getting more cars anyway from investors and partners. Yeah. So basically, I don't buy cars anymore unless I see a really good deal that I can't refuse. Like my C8s, I get at MSRP. There's no markup. Well, there's $1,000 markup. That's nothing, but it's still worth way more than the MSRP. So, it's worth about 10 grand over. So I don't mind getting those and buying, but other than that, I don't even look to buy anymore. There's there's no need for me to buy. And with my business model, I'd rather have less debt, less personal debt, and then just run it as a cash flow business instead of a asset acquiring business. So
Yeah.
I'm not acquiring assets. I don't care because most people are in business to make money. So why would I care about assets that are depreciating anyway? When the bottom line is you're starting a business to make money. So if
Mhm.
I'm making in this business model where I don't have to worry about personal debt and growing and all that, then that was my preference. And these 18 cars that I have that are financed, they only got like 2 to 3 to 4 years left on it maximum. So after those years, I'll be debt free. Those will be all paid off. You see what I'm saying? So, all cash cars or all cars with no liens on it. So that's why I basically want to be debt free and then just basically managing all the cars for a management fee. So
Yeah.
that's how my future. I
Yeah.
know a lot of other people they want to do the asset acquiring as well, but I prefer especially with inflation and high rates. It's a hard time to be trying to acquire assets right now, trying to buy cars because the rates are high, payments are high. So that's kind of like where I'm at right now.
Yeah. Especially with market volatility. I mean, the market
Yeah.
can change so fast. You can become underwater. But I guess if you don't own the cars, it's a little different.
Yeah.
So let's talk about revenue. What are you going to hit this year for gross revenue?
Man, it's been crazy, but right now I'm at like 1.7 plus right now million, and like last month I hit 208,000,
Wow.
so I'm at 1.7, so I'm projecting to be at least 1.9 and possibly hit 2 million, which that'd be crazy, but it might. But
Yeah.
see, like last year I was at 900,000 for the year. So every year it's been like doubling. Like before last year, I was at 350, and then before that, I was at 150. So every year has been doubling.
More than
So,
doubling.
so my projections now, my goal is to double what I'm doing now. So I'm hoping by next time your next interview with me in December, I'm hoping to be at almost 4 million or more.
Crazy.
So,
So what are you going to need to get to that? Obviously, the
well,
cars.
great question. Number one, marketing. Okay, so I have that in the works, and I have a plan for that. And it will be revealed soon, probably early next year. And then number two is systems and processes. You got to have those set up. Number three is the manpower. So I've already envisioned the future in that already. I've already hired people to set up for my scaling like that. I got staff on the ground, and I got virtual assistants that I'm starting, and I have started now, but I plan to scale that too. Because for me, my goal is to work on the business, not in the business. Because if
Mhm.
I'm in the business, I'm not an owner. I'm not a business. I am employed by myself. You know what I mean? I'm an employee in my own business. So my goal is to be able to delegate everything and then focus on marketing, focus on networking, focus on scaling, and having meetings with new potential business partners or investors. So that's where I'm at right now.
Okay. And how many people do you have right now working with you?
Good question. Right now, full time, I only have two full time labor workers that do all the cleaning and prepping and pictures, but there's like four of them that are part time.
Okay.
So basically around six, but two full time. Uh, Full time meaning they work like 8 or 9 hours a day. The others they work like half of that or a quarter of that. Okay.
Yeah.
Then on top of that, I got one full time admin worker who does all the like reimbursements, tolls, who does all the check in, checkouts for the picture. So I got that. But now I've recently hired some virtual assistants actually from my own family, my own church in the Philippines. So I recently logged them on as co-hosts, and now they're going to be answering all the extension requests. They're going to be updating the team, which is going to go automatic, by the way, by January.
Extension requests are gone.
That's going to be gone because of that green T-shirt I wore and showed Andre. So But they're gonna be dealing with all the new bookings, so they're gonna update my Jacksonville team. Hey, this is going out at 4 p.m. They're gonna be dealing with all my priority lists and all that. They're gonna be dealing with all my late returns. They're gonna be filing those late returns. So there's a lot of work for them to do, especially if I scale to 400 cars or 600 cars. So I know that's why I already hedged it. I hedged it by hiring these people, so they'll be ready to take the load.
Okay, that's smart. So what's your output every month? So you generated 2 million. Obviously, a lot of it's co-hosted, but so do the you get the revenue and then you pay out the co-hosts, I'm assuming?
Yes, yes. So what happens is all the income flows into Turo, right? As Turo pays me, and then all I do is distribute it every Friday to the investors and the partners, that whatever their cut is. So we're gonna have an expense and income report every Friday that's on a spreadsheet. It shows exactly which cars made what on what days and who the renter was, and it shows how much their cut is. And then boom, we just send it out every Friday through PayPal. Most of it's through PayPal, which is, by the way, the best. I've tried Zelle, Cash App, Apple Pay, Venmo. They all have limits, short limits. Like I always exceed their maximum limits every month. So, but PayPal, there's no limits. So I love PayPal, and there's no fees. So it's crazy if you set up as a personal PayPal.
Okay.
If you set up as business, they'll charge you like 3%. So I tell them, if you want no fees, set it up as your personal PayPal.
Wow.
So yeah, so the revenue, I'm very transparent with my investors. So
Yeah,
if they're gonna partner with me, I got nothing to hide. I could show them all my books. I could show them, like the weekly spreadsheet's already gonna tell them what they need to know about their cars. So stuff like that. I'm very transparent. I want to keep my integrity and honesty top-notch priority for these partners and these investors, and that's why they like me, because I've heard stories, man. Like these people getting managed by other people. Sometimes they don't even pay them for a month or 2 months. Sometimes they just pay them cash. Like they don't show them any numbers at all. I'm like, man, how did you guys go through that? Like, how do you know they're not this like booking these cards without paying you? And they just did. So that's why I don't want to be like that. I want to be someone that's reliable and honest, and I could show them exactly. And if they want to, see more details, I could give them that. Stuff like that.
Yeah. And I think when you scale, you have to have things set in place.
Yeah.
That way, it's the same. It's systematic, and if somebody were to take over whatever job it is, they would understand that it's systematic and be able to just follow the same systems.
Exactly. So there's room for, there's like a clear cut description of what their role is and what they're doing. So that's what I've already started building a training manual, like for the virtual assistant. So whenever I need more virtual assistants, there's already a training manual for it of how to do it.
So do you pay your employees and virtual assistants through PayPal as well?
It's so new right now. It's gonna be an exploratory process. Because the cool thing is my brother is there in the Philippines. So he's a U.S. He was born and raised here. He has a U.S. system. He has U.S. banks. He has U.S. PayPal. So I can technically pay him, and then there's gonna be a way where we pay the workers there too. They have their Cash App equivalent, Apple Pay equivalents over there too. So that's another way. It's so new. I literally just started a week ago for these virtual assistants. Actually, I got it from the summit. When I attended the summit, everybody like Eric Kwan and them and like these other hosts were using virtual assistant, and they're from the Philippines. I'm like, hey, I'm Filipino. I said, why can't I have my own virtual assistants too? You know what I mean? So it worked out perfect because my brother just moved there last month to the Philippines. I was like, hey Alex, let's set up a virtual assistant call center. You know what I mean? That's exactly what I've done. So I'm excited. So that'll enable me to scale, to accept more clients, partners and stuff. And we'll be able to be more efficient. Boom, boom, boom. Instant responses. Boom, boom, boom. Updates. Because they're going to be 24/7 shifts. Well, actually 20-hour shifts. I just have 4 hours where I don't have a shift because I don't need 24 hours, but I need 20 hours. So So that's kind of how I've prepared for it, the growth part, the scale part.
That's smart. So I know you're taking photos of the car, but what else are you doing like day to day?
Me as the host,
Yeah. yourself?
Yeah, number one is setting the priorities for the day.
Okay.
What cars are going out when. Number two is reporting any late returns because you know you only get the 24 hours to do it.
Mhm.
After 4 hours, if you don't report it, you know that's risky. Number three is I check any messages, any issues that need to go get addressed, any problem cars. Like right today, I got to go to Tesla and check on one of my Teslas that needs to get picked up, and I need to take it to another shop for a second opinion. So I'm gonna go there after this meeting. But then when new cars come in, I take pictures. I like doing the pictures because it's right by my house and I know how to do it. I know exactly the angles I need. And then basically a lot of it is accepting, taking text messages and calls from my current clients that have known me and rent from me all the time. Hey, Alvin, is this car available? Hey, Alvin, how much can you do this one for? So I'm replying to customers a lot. That's why I wanted virtual help because I need them to take the priorities off my load, the late reporting off my load, the updating my team off my load, so I could focus on any of these issues like the problem child cars, going to a damaged car. Like right now, I got a car that got riddled with bullets all over the car. So I'm gonna go over there. Another one, man, another one. So,
Dude, last time we're on a call that had just happened.
yeah, well, I mean, trust me, man. With all these kind of local renters, you're not gonna get exactly 100% like good, clean renters, man. Every now and then you'll get some of these people that are using somebody else's name on Turo. You do the ID verification but they turn around and hand it off to a teenager, and they go drugs in it, or they go sell drugs, or I have some stealing stuff from stores, and they're using the rental car because it opens up to people who are up to no good when you could rent a car and the police won't see who's driving it. The police don't see who's it registered under. They only see the owner. So it's part of the industry. I'm just so desensitized from all of this. You just move on. You file the claim and you move on. So a lot of my role now is dealing with issues that virtual assistants can't do, dealing with issues that my cleaners don't need to mess with because they're busy cleaning cars. So the problem parts. But
Okay. So when somebody shoots up a car, is that like a total loss?
I mean, most likely it is. 'Cause this one in particular, there's so many parts that got hit. Even interiors got hit, and I know that's going to be a loss. I already told Turo, it's over here. Go pick it up for IA. But some, if it's only hit on one panel or two panels, yeah, I've had that repaired easily. Yeah, those could get filled in. My body did at taking care of that. So
Okay. How many cars have you had shot up?
I mean, probably like a handful, like 5 of them or more.
5 or more?
But it's been 6 years, 12,000 trips. That's a low percentage.
You're the only one that's ever told me about those. I've heard of anybody else having that issue.
I've had all kinds, anything under the sun, man. I thought I've seen it all, man. I've had cars like they returned it painted a different color.
What?
Yeah. I had a red Charger, and they returned it half white, half red. Yeah, they were trying to steal it. Actually, they were trying to steal it, but they changed the color.
Wow.
Because the police caught them in the middle of them trying to change the color. So it came back to me half wet, half red, half white when it was originally red. Yeah, and those had holes in it too. So
that had bullet holes in it.
yeah, and they tried to repair the bullet holes. They tried to like Mickey Mouse it, and it looked so it looked so ugly. You could tell there was bullet holes in it.
What?
Yeah.
And that was an investor or a business partner's car, I'm sure.
That one in particular wasn't, but the one that got riddled with bullets a couple days ago, that's one of my partners, and they already know. I showed it to them. I'm like, look, and they know it's inherent. It's an inherent risk. It could always happen. I mean, it's a low percentage, but it could happen.
Yeah.
So I just explained to them, look, man, this is probably a total loss. Get me your lien information. If you want to expedite it, you're gonna have to sign a power of attorney and all that. So I already know the process, so to expedite it. But yeah, I keep telling myself after I'm done with Turo and I retire, I'm gonna make a memoir of all my stories, the craziest stories, and I'll probably make good money on it.
You need to, for sure. I'm sure you have tons of good stories.
Oh man, there's so many stories.
Yeah. So what versus hiring, what's your end goal? Do you have an end goal in mind for Turo? I think I asked you this last time, and you didn't. I don't think you had too many thoughts on it yet.
A lot has changed, man, since the last interview you did with me. Because I was only at 135 cars back then, a few months, 200 plus now, and I'm starting to see this window open now of opportunity for the marketing side and for the staffing side, where I can now hire virtual assistants at a fraction of the cost of me having to pay people here in the U.S. And they're going to be doing the same exact thing I'm already doing. So that's going to free me up to market, to scale. Plus, on top of that, you have to have the market, and I happen to have a Jacksonville market that's very unsaturated. Just to give you a comparison, Orlando, Miami, Tampa, Atlanta, those are the 4 biggest cities around me. They have over 4,000 to 7,000 cars on Turo. Jacksonville, less than 800. So that tells you something.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. But Jacksonville's the largest city in the U.S. geographically, land-wise, in the 48 continental U.S. It's the top 20 largest city, top 20 fastest growing cities in the U.S. in terms of people moving here, choosing to move here. So it's going to keep growing. It's going to keep becoming a more big market kind of city. But right now, it's still a sleeper. It's a sleeper right now. Like, people don't pay attention to the Jacksonville, just like they don't pay attention to the Jaguars in the NFL. But they're leading their division. They're 8-4. They're going to be in the playoffs, but no one pays attention to Jacksonville. So just like Turo, people don't really think about Jacksonville. That's why when I tell investors or business partners, I'm saying, look, man, there's actually only around 600 to 700 active cars, and I got like 200 plus of them. So I got the market cornered here. So the more I add here, it doesn't matter if there's competition coming in and bringing in cars. There's a lot of room for everyone to make money here. So that's why I'm not worried about that part. It's not even close to being saturated here. Like, saturation would probably, to me, here in Jacksonville, would be about 3, 4, 5,000 cars. I'm not even close to that here.
Yeah.
And it could possibly turn into like Tampa, Orlando potential, where it takes 7,000 cars to saturate it or whatever. As the city grows and everything. So that's why there's opportunity here. Not in, there won't be this situation in every city, don't get me wrong. Because if you try to do this in LA or Boston or Orlando, good luck with that, because it's already super saturated. I just happen to be in a market that hasn't been saturated. And when I started, there was no cars on Turo hardly. When I started in 2017, there's only like 4 other cars on Turo. So I basically pioneered it here. I blazed the trail here. So with that comes with thousands of repeat customers, thousands of, like, hundreds in my contact list that are loyal to me only. They don't even look at anybody else's cars, because they know what to expect. They know how easy it is to pick up and drop off a car. They could price it out with me. They know I'll give them a good discount, stuff like that. So it's all about just building rapport, building your network, building your reputation, and just doing things with processes and systems.
Yeah, absolutely. So do you think you could are you going to try to keep doubling every single year, as you've been doing?
Yeah, to answer that question, my projection is the last 5 years has been doubling. Okay, so the trend. But now I'm going to have a whole marketing coming up starting next year. My projection is it could possibly double or triple within the next year. So, but I don't want to over project, but I think what's realistic is doubling. Like, because I've been proving it 5 years straight. There's proof of concept already. There's already proof. 5-year track record of me doubling whatever I'm doing in terms of fleet size, in terms of revenue. So 4 million next year is my goal. If I can hit 4 million, then next year will be 8 million. The next 2 years. So I'm going to see how it goes with this marketing side. This is a new venture for me, but basically, yeah, it's going to be a whole new ball game, because now I'm not just going to be marketing to just Turo groups, to people who are active Turo hosts. I'm also going to be marketing to investors. So that's the exciting part. And my end goal is, I'm not ruling out selling this as a service business down the road, where whoever's going to take over and wants to get my profile and my clientele and my fleet, maybe down the road, but not until I see, like, I've reached my potential and I've maxed it out, and I know, I could put a number on it. Because right now, offered me X amount of dollars, I'd turn them down in a second. You know
Yeah.
why? 'Cause I know I'm not even close to my maximizing potential here.
Yeah. Do you see yourself getting to Eric's size or bigger?
Yeah, I do. But me and him are totally different business models. His model is asset acquiring. He buys all his cars, under his line of credit, his business. I don't acquire cars. I don't buy cars. I acquire them. I manage them. So, I and he's spread out in like 5 different cities. Hawaii, Texas, Arizona. I mean those states. Um, I don't rule that out, but I don't see that as my business model
Yeah.
because Jacksonville, because I see Jacksonville could take on that cars. Jacksonville, if I add another 200 cars, it won't even make a dent as far as saturation because remember, I'm under 1,000 cars right now in Jacksonville. If I double or triple or quadruple that, I'll be, let's say if I'm at 800 cars or 1,000 cars, which is like, let's say 1,500 cars or 1,200 cars, which would be around Eric's size, that's still not saturating Jacksonville because there would only be 1,500 cars in Jacksonville or 2,000 cars in.
So you think you can get to his size just in Jacksonville, but you realistically want to get there for sure.
Oh yeah. I really think it's possible once
Yeah.
once I start doing real marketing. I haven't even the only marketing literally I've done is just posting on Facebook groups that what you
Yeah.
I just invite other people, hey, you want to send your cars to me. But I haven't even gone outside those Facebook groups and real marketing, like advertising anywhere. And because think about it, investors that have money, if they're willing to invest in stocks or a franchise like Subway or McDonald's or KFC, that requires a lot of startup costs, that requires construction costs, that requires permit costs. Imagine with Turo, you could get cars with zero down, zero startup costs, zero permits. All they got to do is get cars and send them to me, and they immediately start making money passively with no involvement at all. They make money in their sleep every Friday, and if there's no construction involved, I mean, why wouldn't they do that? You know what I'm saying? Like if you're gonna spend $1 million up front to build a building to put a Subway in it, when are you gonna make money on that? Like before, by the time you recoup those upfront costs and start making a profit, it might be 2, 3, 4 years from now. You know what I'm saying? With Turo, if you're an investor, you get the car zero down, zero out of pocket. You send them to me. You start making money the next Friday. In 1 week, and got no involvement in it. You don't have to go there and see the operation. You don't have to build a building suit that fits a restaurant. You don't have to hopefully I'll make money in a year because I spent so much on this. Literally they don't do anything. Like I'll be paying them, they'll get their ROI in a month, in a week, or whatever. The only risk involved is getting cars, but any business, there's a risk.
Yeah.
So if I have proof of concept already, I got earnings that could back it up. I got stats and data on cars, and I can show them the potential of what this market is. I mean, it's almost a no-brainer for these kind of investors. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Do you ever have investors or business partners that want to work with you full time, that want to come in and help out?
Oh, like be part of my staff?
Yeah. I'm giving you cars. I want to work with you on them. You get that?
I haven't had that yet, but I've had some say hey, do you need help? Like I can help. 'Cause local investors too. Like they leave a car with me or 2 cars with me. They'll be like, hey man, do you need help cleaning cars? And I'm like, as of now, I don't need help. I'm pretty fully staffed, but maybe in the future, like if I scale up to 400 or 600 cars, I might need you. But I just tell them that. But in the meantime, enjoy your passive income. You're not doing anything and you're making money.
Yeah. What would you say is the best advice for people looking to get into Turo, or I guess co-hosting specifically?
Meaning what? Get it like managing cars themselves, other people's cars themselves?
Yeah.
First of all, you got to start somewhere in terms of managing other people's cars because managing your own cars is totally different. There's less responsibilities, less liability. Now, when you start managing other people's cars, you're talking about other people's cars, the other assets that you don't own. So now you got more liability, you got more responsibility. So the way to learn that is you got to start grassroots with like family and friends that you trust or who trust you. So just in case, that's where you're going to learn the ropes. Like, how do I pay this person? How do I deal with a claim that somebody else owns? How do I communicate with them now that I have some other people involved in my fleet? So you're gonna have to learn the ropes of there. Number two, you gotta develop a track record. Like you can't invite people to send cars to you when you've only been in Turo for 3 months and you got like 20. You know, sadly, I've seen people advertise like a nice fancy website and nice fancy graphics, and I look at their profile, they've only had like 300 trips, and they get on tour for 6 months, and they feel like they could scale. So I'd be careful with that. You know, I would develop like at least a solid 1 or 2 years of a good track record of your market, because number one, there's your market. Like, if you want people to buy your cars, do you have a good market? First of all, if you're gonna run into big stagnant market or oversaturated market, why would people want to send cars to you? So you got to have a good market. That's proof of concept. You got to have a proven track record of at least 1 or 2 years showing the earnings on these cars, showing that you're a good guy 5.0 with reviews galore, 5.0 reviews. Then when you start building street cred like that, you got start building a reputation like that. Then you could start like inviting other people. But then on top of that, you got to learn everything about Turo. Do you know how to file a claim? Do you know what to do on a supplement? Do you know how to like file reimbursements? Or do you know what do you do if if the car is missing, if it got stolen? So there's a lot that needs to be learned. Like honestly, like 1,000 trips and up, I think then you could start considering being a co-host or a manager, because there's just so many things to learn. Like on Turo, there's so many situations, like little things. How are you going to handle them when it comes? And you got someone who owns that car. Like, what if they like want to know a whole bunch of stuff and you don't know how to answer it? And then you're gonna, sorry, I've never had this happen before. So I don't encourage just anybody to get into it. You got to have experience. Number one, like 1 or 2 years at least. You got to know how to do claims. You got to know how. You got to have the space and manpower. No, another important thing. A lot of people are eager to take in cars, but they don't realize they won't have parking for it. They won't realize their driveway only sits 3 cars, and now all of a sudden they take in 10 cars. Okay, where are you gonna do those 10 cars at? Okay, do you have enough manpower? They think they could do it, and then all of a sudden they added 10 cars, and now they don't know how to clean all of them. Now they don't have time. Now they don't know how to take pictures for all of them. They're all going out at 10 a.m. tomorrow. You know, they get home at 6 p.m. The car wash is closed at 5. How are you going to do 10 cars overnight, bro? So that's why you gotta be able to be prepared for that kind of scaling. You gotta have the right manpower, the right systems in place. You know, are you doing automated messaging? How's your settings? Are you doing instant booking? Are you doing like 3-hour buffers or 2-hour buffers or 1-hour buffers, stuff like that. But like I said, if you got a solid, reputation already, you got the earnings to prove it, you got the space and the manpower, you got, a good market, a great market that could take in more cars, then yeah, I mean, y'all can start trying it. I mean, it's not for everybody, but it's an angle that you could take. I mean, I've met some people who've started doing it, and I'm happy for them. People have called me about it. I give them advice on it. I've done interviews about co-hosting. So, but yeah, I think Turo is on the verge of making that really big. Like one of their main revenue streams is co-hosting.
Yeah, I definitely see it. There's so many people doing co-hosting. For people wanting to co-host with you or become a business partner, where's the quickest or best way they can find you?
Yes. Number one, you could call or text me. I give my cell phone out. I don't care. It's 904-612-2727. 904-612-2727. That'll give you you could text me, call me. Then you could reach out to me on Facebook and Instagram. I think I got a if you look up Rent Nice Cars. My Turo website is rentnicecars.com. That's my Turo profile. If you Google me, Jax Turo Management, JX Turo Management, you'll see me right there. You'll see my phone number there. there's always ways you could contact me, easy ways. And then, yeah, the easiest is just text me or call me.
Okay, that sounds good. I hope next time we talk, you're up to 400 cars.
Ooh, we'll see, man.
At least.
I'm happy with the potential and the projections, and with these new things I'm coming out with my marketing, and with the staff I'm adding now virtually. It's, man, the sky's the limit right now, man. I'm just excited. So whoever wants to make passive income, because I'm telling you, if you're in a bad market where it's too cold, 3 to 4 months out of the year, it's not getting rented out. Send the cars to me. I'll get it rented out 12 months of the year. If your car is not generating the revenue you want, or it's sitting, you could possibly make more money doing nothing while I do everything for you, compared to you doing everything and you make less money because you have to price it at a lower rate because of a saturated market, when I could price it higher, $10 to $15 a day higher, possibly. So that's the thing y'all got to consider. Like as an investor or a partner, do you want to start making passive income? Are you overwhelmed? You got another job you're juggling. You got another business. You got no more time for your family. Your wife's about to leave you because all you do is Turo. I've literally helped dozens of hosts across where now they're doing nothing and they're making money in their sleep every Friday. And now they get this big tax write-off too for their expenses. And now they get to enjoy freedom, man. They get to enjoy time. And at the same time, they could scale they can scale passively now. They just keep adding cars with me, and their revenues, like the guy who sent me 45 cars, he's gonna keep adding more cars. Like, and now he doesn't have to work for it when he used to do all the work.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the opportunity. It's a win-win situation. You're gonna win, and it's gonna let me win, so I could provide better service, better scalability, and everything.
Absolutely. Well, you heard him. Hit him up if you need co-hosting.
Yes, definitely.
200, soon to be 400.
Yes, and there's tremendous opportunity, and the number one key thing is making the change. Because what's the definition of insanity? Doing what you've been doing without making any change and expecting the same results. You're never gonna get different results if you don't do anything about it. So the key is doing something about it. And then you can see improvements, and then you can see results, different results. Mm-hmm. All right. So yeah, I appreciate the time, Max, and you've been great. And anybody who wants to reach out to me, feel free. I'm an open book. I'm not selfish. I can, guys. I can, call me or text me, and no problem. Or reach out to those other avenues.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate your time, Alvin. And like I said, next time we talk, man, 400 cars. I want to see it.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it. I look forward to it.
All right, bro. Take it easy.
All right, man. Take care.
See ya.